Hello, everyone. welcome to Zandvoort for the scene of round 13 of the World Championship. And of course, we've only got 7 rounds to go to either make more history with Sam Swift Ninja becoming a 4-time world champion, or for a new champion to be crowned in the form of a mortal. It feels like the mission is becoming a bit critical now for Sam Swift Ninja. He did take a few points out of Immortal last week when it was a bit of a tough old race for the championship leader, but it was still not enough, was it, to make too much of a gain in the championship conundrum at this moment in time, but it's still every little helps and all that kind of stuff indeed. Welcome along to, I hope you're feeling a bit cozy if you're watching from the UK, because we have been absolutely battered this evening, or this today, by, I think, is it Storm Amy or something like that? Potentially, I don't know, to be fair, but all I know is I got absolutely drenched about 10 minutes ago, so I am absolutely freezing in me Crocs, or whatever I've got on. But yes, it is time for Zandvoort 1. Of course, also very sad news as well today about Ricky Hatton sadly passing away as well. Only 46 years old. Gosh, that's quite shocking, really, because he's only 11 years older than me. Good gracious me, that makes me very depressed indeed. Lego gold, says Nosey. Hopefully it won't be 2 laps down tonight, says Nosey. After the event league on Wednesday, I believe it was. Sadly, that is a lost race for me, because potentially and almost certainly I would have won that race with no qualms or reasons or anything like that. But sadly, sport is not won on paper, is it? This gives me a great opportunity, whilst waiting for the drivers to come in, to go through the drivers in the Constructors' Championship then, because we've already waffled on enough, haven't we? This is the scene of the championship at this moment in time then. It is, of course, whoops, I'm looking at the wrong one there. It is Immortal leading by 44 points then. That is still quite a big points margin. Mortal needs to have a no score, I think, for Sam Swift Ninja to really get that nailed down, especially in the form that Immortal has been in this season. Listen to this, too good to miss. Immortal in his 12 races so far has had no DNFs then, and he has finished every race 5th or above then, which is pretty impressive stuff indeed there for Immortal. He's been a fine vet indeed, and he has won 50% of the Grand Prix he has started in this season. In the form of Sam Swift Ninja, he has had 4 Grand Prix wins, goodness me. So basically, 10 of the 12 races have been wins have been shared by the top 2. Incredible, isn't it? 4 Grand Prix wins there for Sam Swift Ninja. Sam Swift Ninja has, of course, only had quite a little score in Miami, didn't he? But same with Sam Swift Ninja, he has been quite impressive in terms of high point scoring as well. Spain, of course, he only finished 6th. I wish I could finish 6th, but still impressive stuff nonetheless for the top 2. I have minimised something I shouldn't have done. 1 minute. Oh my word, I've had a pack of Haribo as well, which is giving me real bad indigestion. Third position is MHD then. 94 points away from the championship leader, 50 points away from Sam Swift Ninja at the moment. Brabant in 4th position, only 1 point adrift of MHD now. It is Brabant then, and could potentially sneak himself into that top 3. Flippy, what an incredible race he had last week then. Of course, his first Grand Prix win in Hungary for Flippy then. Can he build upon that here tonight? For Zandvoort, it's kind of similar to Hungary, kind of not, isn't it? Basically makes no sense at all. But that means he's now within 22 points of Brabant and 23 points of that top 3, which would be impressive indeed. The most successful silver champion that has been promoted from silver to gold the season after in ALR history. Fantastic stuff indeed. Lucas Purse, of course, back in the mix now. 70 points so far is point score. 159 points away from the championship leader. Potentially out of contention, maybe. Van Von in 7th edition on 67 points, 51 points from Menace. Pease, who is in 9th on 45, who I think has been one of the standout drivers this season for Pease, but he has slipped back in the last couple of races. He's had 2 DNFs in the last 2 races, which has kind of put a bit of a cosh on his season. Young Lights completes the top 10 on 31 points. Then we got Boxtal on 30 points. Troy, who's not racing again, sadly, on 24 points. Equals on 12 with 11 for Nameless, and hopefully not a P11 tonight. Then we got Cam on 5 points. Very happy after last week then, of course, I got a DM from Cam. Cool. And I told honest, I don't really get many DMs, so I was very happy with that. But Cam, very happy with that. He's I can't repeat exactly what he said, but he just said finally. But of course, obviously, we're very profanity in there. Legends in 60 position on 4 points, 4 points for Nosey. Chazza, unfortunately, he's not emulating the his beloved Middlesbrough at the moment, who is top of the championship, I believe, but he's 3 points in the relegation along with Morris and Delano as well. Then I've run out of time here, haven't I? Because we're about to start the Dutch Grand Prix. Quickly, Sean. Pressure's on, big man. Right in the constructors championship, Racing Bulls are leading the constructors championship at the moment. Then 51 points in front of Kick Sauber, who were the constructors champions from last season. Third position is the Alpine on 180 points and 9 points adrift. Then they have started to drop down ever so slightly with Pease on a bit of a bad patch. Haas in fourth position and 20 points in front of the McLaren team, who are a fifth, with Red Bull Racing on 79 points, 55 points for the Mercedes, 51 points for the Ferrari. Williams on 28, 16 for Aston Martin. Very low score for Aston Martin at the moment, sadly. They've really got to potentially get themselves on the point scoring board, then, don't they, for the Reds board, the Aston Martin. And the joint constructors so close at the moment. There 6 points between the top two of Williams and of course the Alpine team, and a further 9 points back is the Racing Bull team. The top three are separated by 15 points, then, and the top four are separated by 34 points, which is the McLaren Mercedes team in fourth position. Aston Martin are only 57 points away from the leaders. That's incredible, isn't it? In fifth position, and Kick Sauber at only 72 points from Williams as well. Then, and potentially that could all turn on its head. Then, it's been incredible to see. I need to make a graph actually of the joint constructors, because it's been yo-yoing around so incredibly over the season so far. Ferrari in seventh position on 375 points, 295 for the Haas team, 279 for the Red Bull Racing, and Mercedes, unfortunately, over 100 points away from the Red Bull Racing team. And they basically need two 1-2s, don't they, to get themselves within catching distance of the Red Bull Racing team. Then good stuff indeed. That, of course, we are here tonight in I thought I broke the stream now. We are here tonight in Zandvoort, then, of course, here, of course, on the June Sea. Is it the June Sea? I don't know where it is, to be honest. But Zandvoort, a very short circuit, and the first 6 laps around this beautiful setting. Then, of course, we're very close to the beach there, which is where I'll be going later on. Listen to a bit of Nicki Minaj as well, here in Zandvoort. 2 DRS zones around this circuit. It's the back straight is not very much of a back straight, and, of course, it's very much a lot about the banking here, especially the extreme banking of turn 3. And of course, also the banking in from turn 13 and 14 as well. DRS there just after the exit of turn 13 then as well. Then, so that is the track map then as we get on to the racing as well. Then hello to you all then who is just joining the stream. As let me get me spreadsheet back up. I don't think there's any milestones tonight, is there? I think actually it's his 30th Grand Prix start tonight for Nameless, so happy 30th then to you, Nameless. Of course, and hopefully he doesn't celebrate with 11th position, which seems to be the joke of the season so far. It's probably the worst place to be. Is Van Von then, who of course has qualified this season, has been fantastic. He just needs to convert those qualifying performances into decent race performances there. But he did have a very good 5th position in last week's Hungarian Grand Prix. Right, as he's about to start his time then. Gino saying good luck all. Great stuff indeed. And Equaz ALR. Rain maybe? Oh, a little bit of rain. No. Definitely, there's definitely rain in the race, and says Percy. Real Ashton then. Show bronze standings. My back is hurting, says Real Ashton. To be fair, I think from next season it would be quite a good idea to probably show all the standings right from the opening of Gold, shouldn't I? The problem is, though, because I yap away so much, I'm going to have to start at 7 o'clock. Coming through Skyflock, which is probably the best corner name of the calendar as well, here tonight as we go over the brow of the hill. I love this circuit. This circuit is fantastic to drive on. I'm not sure if it's the best circuit to race on, but even so, it's such a challenge there. And the adrenaline rush that you get from the exit of turn 3, the bank of the turn 3, up into Skyflock turn is absolutely fantastic. Home GP for Cat Van Von, and Boxel says Duke. Sadly, though, the most Sadly, the most memorable shot of the Dutch Grand Prix has to come from Season 8, of course, on the F1 22 game. Ironically, one of the worst F1 games that ALR has ever raced on, but probably produced one of the best seasons in ALR history. Van Von has gone fastest then on an 8-9 then, a 9-4 for Boxtel. But in that season, and of course, we did have a freeway fight between this man here, Boxtel. Then we had Lucas Percy, and of course, Troy as well. But it was at the exit of turn 1 there where Boxtel and Lucas Percy came to blows, and unfortunately, it didn't do any of those drivers any good whatsoever in terms of the championship there. It was an incredible season though, wasn't it? Here comes Savasta, who's been an incredible performer over the past couple of days. But of course, also as well, we've got to mention that the second reserve driver of Mad Max, who won the event league on Wednesday. Then, of course, Kieran had a penalty, unfortunately, for a collision earlier on the race then, and that elevated Mad Max to win the Grand Prix. And a fantastic performance indeed there from Mad Max there. And I'm wondering if we're going to see something similar. This Mad Max's third or second race this season. I think it's his third race this season, to be honest. Lock up the inside shoulder tyre there. But Mad Max is on the circuit now. All-time lap record is actually set by Sam Swift Ninja back in season 10 in his first season around here for Sam Swift Ninja of an 09836 then. 836, and of course, let's take a look at the previous winners around here, which of course, hang on, so we've got Lucas Percy just cut it to the line. Lucas Percy goes third fastest at the moment. Brabbit, who is currently on the circuit. So Sam Swift Ninja won this race last season. Then Lucas Percy won it in season 11, and Sam Swift Ninja won it in season 10. Lucas Percy won it in season 9. Then goodness gracious me, the last two champions of ALR have won these races, the last 4 races around here. Incredible. Then if we go back further, Troy won it in season 8 when he won the world championship there. Then we had Sloffu, who's now in silver, won it in season 7. Then Milan won it in season 6. Total P's, then of course a former Grand Prix winner around here, currently in the pits, won it in season 5 there. Lights, of course, won his first Grand Prix around here in season 4. Season 3, of course, and that was the first time we raced around here as well. In terms of pole sitters, or historic pole sitters around here, AC Immortal has been on pole position here the last 2 seasons. And can he make it a hat-trick here tonight as Brabbit goes second fastest? Great time there for Brabbit. What a way to start off as MHD has currently gone fast in the first sector. Of course, season 10 pole position was set by Percy. German was pole sitter in season 9. Boxtel in season 8 with Mr. BT in season 7. Oh, I remember him very vaguely. And then Milan in season 6 and season 5 for Milan, and Milan in season 4 as well. So Milan has also been on pole position 3 times around here. Immortal going for a hat-trick of pole positions around here tonight then. Oh gosh, I've deleted everything. Oh dear. I've got real fat fingers lately. I don't know what it is, and maybe I should go lay off those sausages, those wall sausages, which I always remember. As MHD goes faster by from Immortal by 2 tenths a second. I always remember that advert where it's that dog, wasn't it, who kept jumping after the sausages when he went walls. I love that advert. Here's Flippy, the most recent Grand Prix winner of the season. Then of course he's broken his duck. Then in his first season in gold, then it's incredible. This man's a talent, is he? He's a generational talent. And my goodness gracious me, that is going to be the first of many. I think so. Hopefully that's not the commentator's curse there. Similar to what Ron Dennis did with Heikki Kovalainen, even though he called him Heikki for some reason. The final turn there for Flippy, where of course Ron Dennis says the first of many, but it wasn't the first of many for, sadly, Kovalainen, as that was his one and only Grand Prix win. Ironically at Hungary as well, and ironically in the McLaren, but hopefully there's similarities out there for Flippy and Heikki Kovalainen, potentially. Alright, hang on. Srivasta, sure then. Is that how you say Srivasta? 2 Hours Mushroom said it to me last week. And the man himself also told me how to say it in the comms box as well. But in my defence, I've been asleep since then. Here's the triple world champion and defending champion out on circuit. And of course, no knockout qualifying for Grand Prix racing anymore in ALR Gold because mainly because it took too long, to be honest. Sam Swift Ninja in 16th position. And to be fair, I think that knockout qualifying is probably good for the original product, but I'm not sure if it is for league racing. That is it. However, it does build up to a nice crescendo, doesn't it? It also gives me opportunity to moan about the state of the world. Hope Boxtel and Percy qualify next to each other. Because does that make me a sadist? Says Serious Mushroom. Absolutely, but I love it. So coming out of the final third, and coming across the line, it goes second fastest. Of course, Percy shared a comms clip from another commentator in another championship. I can't remember. Whoa, is Percy there riding the red ball? Riding the ball by the looks of it is his racing ball then getting a bit unstable out of turn 12, which was quite funny actually. The commentator didn't have the profanity buzzer there as he was swearing like a trooper, which to be fair, I would probably love to do it as well, but you don't know who's watching, do you really? And also as well as I remember that my younger nephew used to way back when I first started this spiel, used to watch it, and yes, let's just say that I didn't really want him to listen to some of the profanity I would have been saying, but that's the main reason why. But maybe if we launch a league ALR after dark, potentially, then it might be a bit interesting. Here's Pease, of course, a former Grand Prix winner around here, albeit that was 18 seasons ago. I think that was about 8 seasons ago. Then Pease is the second ever Grand Prix winner around here. Incredible stuff. Indeed, time flies when you're having fun. And I was mentioning in the build-up then, Pease, who had such a good start to this season, but sadly 3 DNFs in the last 3 races, really put a bit of a, as cars has gone fastest, 8 minutes to go, he's really put a bit of a dent in his season so far. Of course, he hasn't scored since the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix round 6 there. Of course, he didn't start in Spain, he didn't start in Britain either, but then Austria, he had a retirement, same with Belgium, and Hungary, he didn't start either. And also Canada as well, DNF there for Pease. Unfortunately, Mad Max says Shafi then, as yes indeed, of course, Mad Max, if you don't know about Mad Max's a Grand Prix win on Wednesday, he did finish second on the road then, but there was a 3-second was there a 3 or 5 second penalty was added to the end of the race time of Kieran, which cost him his 3rd Grand Prix win of his event league career, and that elevated Mad Max to his 3rd Grand Prix, his 1st Grand Prix win, and I think it was only his 2nd or 3rd appearance in the event league. It was the 2nd, I think, actually, with a superb performance indeed there from Mad Max. Can he do the same thing here tonight? He's down in 15th at the moment, Mad Max is. There's Delano back in the hot seat of the Ferrari, hoping to get some points in, but he's straggling that curb a bit too much now. I do love a good straddle, but that's too much potentially. Here's Chazza in 19th position there. Thoughts on F1 staying? Thoughts on F1 saying going back to V10? V10s, I wish. V8, I absolutely love it, but it ain't going to be till 2031, is there? To be fair, I'm going to be honest, I think it's the wrong time to be talking about that because we got a new engine formula next season. Immortal's on pole position there. Yeah, Immortal doesn't want to hear any about that because he is on pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix. Fantastic. Go back to the Chazza. Oh, secret pens. I know about Payne and says Serious Mushroom. Technically, they're not secret. They're in the race review. But unfortunately, for me and Mushroom, we don't read the race reviews. So there we go. So take it out of what you will. I'll borrow Chazza, of course. As I noticed, Middlesbrough now top of the championship, which is good stuff. It's great to see Middlesbrough back in the Premier League. It's probably been, they've not done they've been in the Premier League in Chazza's lifetime, have they? Across the line there comes Chazza. Goes 19 for the 19 runners so far for Chazza. Here's Morris, 2/10 of a second up then for Morris. Had a difficult season then for Morris as well. There's been a lot of established drivers out there. He's invalidated this time, sadly. Knowlesy is stuck behind Shivasa. Shivasa, I got to take a screenshot of that. Equals is currently on a out lap, currently on a quick lap at the moment in a 13th position. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea to go back to V8s, V10s personally, mainly because the noise is fantastic, and more importantly, I think this is the most important part: is it makes the cars a lot smaller and a lot less expensive to make and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, because the engines themselves are redonkulously expensive. But I think more importantly, it makes the cars a lot smaller, which I think is the most important factor. But having said that, I was wrong about the ground effect, because I remember being very excited about the ground effect era, because I thought it'd be much more entertaining racing. But however, that's kind of backfired as well, hasn't it? There. But in my defence, I'm just a ginger guy from the forest steed. Into the pits comes Ekwell, so slowed it down. That's too fast. I might get a reprimand for that. I hope Farf watching, because Farf loves a bit of a pound in a dollar. So I think that Farf will be getting out his own checkbook in a minute for any drivers in 10 court speed in the pit lane. By the way, I don't think that Coach. Oh, and Rabbit's gone too wide there. He got stuck on the curve there. I was about to say something else there. He's coming into the pits now, and Rabbit is unfortunately a bad day. Percy looks like that he's 2 seconds off the pace according to the time data in the top right-hand corner. Oh, come on, Alex, you know that you want that 11th place, says Serious Musher. As just watching Percy, just to wind up and let it go. But yeah, I am excited about the V8 engine coming back with until 2031. Mainly because we got a new engine formula. So, yeah, I think this is probably the wrong time to talk about that. Maybe I'm being a bit sadist. I've been listening to Mushroom too long. But maybe I am being a bit sadist here. But is the FIA president Ben Salim trying to take a bit of focus off him, or trying to get some more votes in for his election year? Maybe, I do not know, but I think he's got a big following anyway within the FIA, hasn't he? There we go. But anyway, enough about that. All that politics and stuff. We don't want to listen to any of that, do we? But yes. V8s or V10s would be great. I don't think V10's coming bad though, but V8's certainly looking good as well. The only problem with that is though that the likes of Audi and Honda, especially those two engine groups, have come into F1 specifically about the 50% split of the hybrid and the hybrid, haven't they? And the battery elements and all that kind of jazz. Basically, you can tell I don't know what I'm talking about with the engine stuff. Whoa, looking up the outside tyre there, Boxhouse. That's unusual for the Mercedes driver. But yeah, the 50-50 split of the battery deployment. I think that's why Audi came in the first place, and of course why Honda have stayed potentially as well. So yeah, I don't think those engine manufacturers are going to be too impressed by that, are they? But anyway, 2031 then, by the sounds of it, because 2029 was the original date. Or speaking about the original date, but I think that's far too early. Only 3 years of this engine life cycle. Probably not going to please a lot of the engine manufacturers or teams either. Mad Max there is just starting his lap moment, so we're going to stick with Sam Swift Ninja, who is a bit down on his time moment. So Cam is out on circuit with 2.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session there. Yeah, 5-second penalty for Mushroom. Hashtag we want Mushroom. In fact, I'm still smarting about it for Mushroom. Should have broke the rules at Mushroom. Cam there and coming out of turn 3 and on the second now. Watching from the Bath, so far from the Bath, which was going to be a podcast idea. Ironically, you know what keeps popping up on my recommended at the moment is our very short-lived podcast where we used to just have a chat with some drivers, and we had Slippery Tuna. I had a Slippery Tuna pop up on my recommended list the other day, which is quite funny. Goodness gracious me, how things have changed there. We've also got electronics in the bar. I like a shock. Watch Sean drive that. Watch Sean drive that with Shocky. How dare you, Mushroom? I would have won this race if I was taking part in this one on Wednesday. What? Here comes Cam into turn 13 and into turn 14 now then. So Cam is hoping that his impressive performance in the Hungarian Grand Prix a few days ago might be able to elevate him up to 10th. Well, it certainly elevates his time up to 10th position as well, in which we've got less than 2 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So I've got to get my... oh, who's that? Was someone off there? I don't think so. I think that was just the camera angle, potentially. Box Talent, I think it's not on a quick lap at the moment there. We need an ALR podcast, says Real Ashton. We did 12 episodes. Well, Knowlesy did 12 episodes where we was interviewing a couple of drivers and just having a chat with some of them as well. I think we had a chat with Emerson, Slippery Tuna. I can't remember anyone else, to be fair. Probably on the other side of the circuit. But it was pretty cool stuff, to be fair. But I don't think we had many views, to be honest. It's similar to the season reviews, so we don't get many. We get decent amount of views for the season reviews, but I think that the amount of effort that goes into it, it's not I don't want to say it's not worth it, but it is a lot of work there. I must admit, I've lost where I am on circuit. Van Von is out on circuit at the moment now, so he hasn't lost where he is. Soundswift Ninja is currently crawling, and he's going to only be as high as now. Here comes a motor going to start us up now. Soundswift Ninja is currently fourth at the moment. KD, thank you very much. KD was also had a podcast as well. Fantastic stuff. Serge Much has got an incredible memory. Morris up to sixth position. Great stuff indeed. Then with Bravo also in seventh as well. They're just starting their times now. Checker flag has fallen for Sivasta, who's missed out. MHD has taken pole position. And remember, he got pole position last week at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Mad Max down in 17th position there. Cam is staying 11th. Equals is 13th at the moment there. We have Checker flag has also fallen then for Equals, who's down in 13th position. Currently it's MHD, who's got pole position. Immortals up in the second sector. Aston Martin, who's that coming through? That is Nameless up to a superb 7th position there for Nameless. Great stuff indeed. Lucas Percy out on circuit as well. Immortal coming down the back straight. Chazza stays 19th. Mad Max is now down into 18th, unfortunately. What about the second McLaren of Flippy, who's right down the order? He's down in 11th position. That's better. He's up into the second row of the grid. Fantastic there for Flippy then. Kick Sauber coming through. Sam Swift Ninjas abandoned his time and come into the pit lane there. We've got a red, I think that's a, Immortal's on pole position then for the Dutch Grand Prix. Percy's only fourth. Immortal, pole position, number 3 in 3 years around here. It's a hat trick of pole positions for Immortal, and I have missed it. Shocking stuff. Shame on me. Sort yourself out, Sean. Goodness gracious me, you need to get in the bath with half. I gotta say, wouldn't that be a delight? But Immortal is on pole position for the 6th time this season, and for the 3rd time in 3 years around here, he is on pole position now for Immortal, and that takes his all-time tally, who's already got the most pole positions in history of ALR Gold, to 28 now. Fantastic. He is a prolific pole position and pole setter, isn't he? Is Immortal, and that is again another pole position, and it could potentially extend his in the Drivers' Championship with Sam Swift Ninja down in 6 at the moment there. Or TK to you. It's because they have the same initials almost. Immortal pole position by 61 hundredths of a second there for Van Von in third position at MHD second there with Percy down in fourth position, Flippy fifth. Soundswift Ninja, the championship lead, the championship contender, 44 points away. Down in sixth position with Brabant, Sivasta in eighth position with Nameless ninth and Morris. A great qualifying in 10th position and hoping to turn that into a result here today. Scooby Scrap said Mortal hit a 0.3 in practice. That'll do. Says Equals. If you didn't notice, me and my teammate was giving each other toes. Says oh rain. Yeah, I apologise, Morris. I was too busy ranting about the V8 engine. Well, not V8 engine. I was praising the V8 engine, but I was ranting about the timing of it. Percy, bloody hell, says Percy. Could have had P2, but a bump final straight and a lost a 0.05 instantly. I'm too fast for 11th mushroom. Laugh out loud. Good luck to you all. You'll need it. As we got a splattering of rain. Whether the rain is going to stay or if it's just going to be a light, short, sharp shower remains to be seen. And as you can see, the Paddock Club are getting wet. Their goodness me. Those rich and famous better get those champagne glasses undercover because they'll be watered down. Maybe they're watered down already. In the Paddock Club then, as we're just waiting for the start of the formation lap. Of course, if it is a short, sharp shower, then are they going to stay? Because that track looks very dry to me. Well, maybe not. Intermediate tyres for the drivers out there at the moment. I think it's intermediate tyres for everyone. I wonder if it would have been worth potentially one of the drivers near the back, maybe Mad Max, who's doing a super sub tonight, maybe rolling the dice and going on to slick tyres, opposite to Marcus Winkelhock in the European Grand Prix of 2007. Was it the European Grand Prix or was it the actual German Grand Prix in 2007? I think it was the German Grand Prix, wasn't it? Because that was when they started to alternate Nürburgring and Hockenheim, wasn't it? That looks like a really dry track. So if this is a short, sharp shower, potentially they could go back onto slick tyres. So we've got 36 laps around here. If you, of course, if this rain does ease off and you're back onto slick tyres, you then don't have to use two types of compounded tyres. As the Ferris wheel's going around there, so even this sprinkle of the wet stuff is not going to deter the tourists there in this beautiful part of the world. Immortal, pole position number 28 of his career. MHD is alongside Moro 1. Van Von then, can he convert this into a good performance here tonight? Lucas Percy is currently in fourth position there. As you heard him, he lambasted his final performance with a bump and cost him 500ths of a second there. Flippy in fifth position there. Can he get his second Grand Prix win in a week? Fantastic. Soundsurf Ninja needs to try and outscore Immortal. He's not going to lose the championship today, but it could go a long way to Immortal winning it. Bravitt in seventh position. See Vasta in eighth position in the Williams. I'm getting his name. I think I'm starting to get better with his name then. Nameless in ninth position with Morris in 10th position. Great teamwork from the Haas team to get themselves into 7th and 10th position. Boxtown 11th with Cam in 12th position. They will score points again. Equals in 13th. Legends in 14th with Peace hoping to emulate his Grand Prix win around here in season 5. Nosey in 16th position there. 17th position Delano with Man Max in 18th and Chazza in 19th position. 19 cars on the grid lined up then. They're on dry, Sean. Just kidding. Was you kidding, Mushroom? Or did you think they was going to be on dries? To be honest, I would want to go on dries, but well, maybe not actually, because it looks very light out there. Rightio then, as now we're switching to the start of the Grand Prix. There are 5 lights are on then. And let's go here in Zandvoort then. It's a short run down into turn 1 there. And it's a very inviting run into Tarzan there. It's a terrible start for Cam. He's dropped down 3 positions already to go into turn 1 there. They're all side by side. I think they've all behaved very nicely indeed there. As that is Morris up 2 positions alongside his teammate. Fantastic stuff indeed. But at the front there, there's Status Quo. Soundswift Ninja trying to go on the outside there. It's getting very slippery. And look at that there. There's Flippy almost forcing the world champion onto the grass there. And flicking through as well. It is. Look at this. And it's outside goal. It's who's out. I think that was Morris there. I'm almost making contact with Boxtown. Boxtown the inside into Skyflock. But all fine and dandy there. Flippy's lost out because Soundswift Ninja is through there. Whilst his teammate is also made up a few positions as well. Delando's dropped off. He's down into 19th position there. Back at the front. And now Soundswift Ninja then is out starting to motor on then. He has fired up his tyres nicely indeed. Has the world champion there. Immortal's done the perfect start. Wherever the DRS will be enabled or not remains to be seen. And I think it should be enabled, but it's in wet conditions at the moment there. But it's only a sprinkle of the wet stuff. We haven't even got any spray off the cars. So I would say enable that DRS, but I think that Immortal probably doesn't want the DRS to be enabled just yet. And Pease is up to 9th position. What an incredible start from Pease there. Of course, he's got happy memories around here. Lucas Purcell over the back of Van Von here. Then no DRS on the first lap. Then of course it's the opening lap. To go down into turn 1. Does Percy on the outside. Oh, it's there rubbing wheels. And Soundswift Ninja's going to go on the inside. There's contact between the 2 cars. And my goodness me, Soundswift Ninja's through, but he's got the other inside. Percy hangs along the outside. He'll have the inside, but of course it's all about having the high ground into turn 3, wheel to wheel, lock in the touching wheels, and Soundswift Ninja to get out. And now Flippy is also now in the vicinity as well. There's yellow flag in the background. There's something's going to right there. Cam's all the way down into 19th position, unfortunately, through Skyflock there for the second time. Oh my goodness me. And Percy there is goodness me, having a run at Cam, then down to 1. It's gone from attack to defence now. Back on board with Samson. Love the helmet, by the way. Fantastic stuff indeed. As now Jamie Morris is back up in the 10th position. Steve Vasta is down into 11th at this moment in time. Immortal leads. Second is MHD with Kip Van Vort in 3rd position. As Percy has led Sam Swift Ninja through there. I'm wondering then if he got a call from his engineer saying that give that position, but then as it was off the circuit, he would have been having the might of the FIA or the stewards on his case from Percy, so he's given that position back. So then going through to complete lap 2 then. No DRS then, by the looks of things then, so it's going to have to be done the old-fashioned way. Oh, there is DRS! And here comes MHD, he's on the outside, and he's gone on the outside of Mortal into turn 1 and Tarzan. But no dice at the moment now. Don't think the DRS is going to be too impactful on this race. Pease up to 8th position there. That's a redonkulous start from Pease. Nameless is fighting with Morris, and Morris is hoping to get some points on the board here tonight. And he looks strong around here in Zandvoort, does Morris. Morris does start to perform well, especially in the later stage of the season where we go over to the America part of the America leg of the championship. And look how light the rain is there. The more we go around then, the more that the wet is going to be burnt off the circuit, off the top of the circuit here, up the top of the circuit here, and I think that up the top of the circuit, and we could start to think about dry tires. And I don't think it's wet enough at the moment, though, is it? Soundsurf Ninja flying at the moment on the inside of Van Von. There just can't get the traction. Can the world champion? But he's flying out there, and that's going to certainly raise the eyebrow, I think, of Immortal, who is struggling at the moment in these conditions. He can't get away from MHD, no Van Von, and that is now brought into play. Look at this conga line here. Magnificent stuff indeed. That where's Troy? Says Serious Mushroom. I think Troy. I don't think it's official yet, but he's missed the last 2 races. This is the 3rd race he's missed now, and Troy there, as I think, has really struggled this season. Soundsurf Ninja still the pass up the race, as MHD takes the lead then, going into Tarzan. He takes the lead then and gets in front of Immortal. Incredible stuff indeed then. Oh, and Soundsurf Ninja, rubbing the wheels there of Van Von then, going into turn number 3. He says then. Out of turn 3 as well. Look at everyone is in DRS apart from Mad Max, who's struggling out there at the moment, at this moment in time there. So we go through the very fast part of this first sector. It's very kinky in the first part of the circuit, and isn't it? Which very much certainly raises my eyebrow. I love the first part of the circuit. It was fantastic. Right, MHD leads the race set, of course. MHD, I don't think, has had a Grand Prix win this season, which is quite shocking because he's been incredible pace, hasn't he? He's had 5 podiums, which is the 4th highest, the 4th highest, because Brabant has had 6 podiums this season. But MHD, oh, Soundsurf Ninja almost off the circuit. Is that Gillen West? And then the white lines might be starting to get a bit precarious here. Pease is off the circuit as well. He's done the same thing as Soundsurf Ninja. Oh, Pease is an incredible star. But he's dropping down the order. Is there damage? There's major damage to the Alpine there. I'm wondering if he's obviously hit the wall or something hard, hasn't he? And that is unfortunate. Is the rain starting to get heavier? It's still quite light out there, but still the white lines are very slippery at this moment, and back into turn 1 of Tarzan. And everyone is status quo at the moment. No DRS now for Sebasta, and Boxer having a look on the outside, but no dice about it. Boxer is giving Sebasta a bit of encouragement out of turn 1 there. P's in the pits there, as Pease is out of the Grand Prix, and that is such a shame there for Pease, of course, after a great start, but it just went a bit awry on lap 5. But up the inside goes Cam here of Delano, and they're going to go side by side. Delano there is going to try and cut across contact between the 2 cars. Delano off the circuit, and I think that Delano is going to be quite furious about that, potentially, as him and Cam really come close together there. It's very difficult to go side by side there as well. 1 retirement, and that's Pease. We're down to 18 runners and riders in this Grand Prix. I wasn't going to mention Pease, but I knew it then, says Serious Mushroom. So Serious Mushroom mentioned Pease, and that's what happens, then you see. As Boxed out in 11th position. Well, such a shame for Pease, because Pease had such an incredible start and was flying through the field, but out of the race again. Pease has not finished a Grand Prix now since the says Percy, it's a hack sort of way that hasn't finished since round 6 in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, which is very unfortunate indeed. Who's out in the pits? That is Van Von, and MHD's in the pits as well. I reckon that they're going for dry tyres, because it is very dry out there, and let's take a look at this. I've still got the position change on. It's medium tyres for Van Von, and the race leader sacrificed track position to also go on the dry tyres. Wow, that's incredible. Then look at, I'm not sure, because that track still looks, says Serious Much. I think it's too early for slick tyres, and I have been saying, actually, maybe I'm just contradicting myself now, but that's what I do. Let's go on board then with the 2 runners that have gone onto slick tyres. It's going to be very greasy. They need to fire up these tyres, and they cannot make mistakes, and they've got to get these tyres fired up. Oh, look at that, Dennis. It looks like they're Bambi on ice there as they come out of turn 3. But this is, they got to keep it. They got to keep with it. They can't have a half-hearted attempt here. Soundsurf Ninja is now right under the wheel tracks, right under the rear wing here of his championship rival. What a start to Soundsurf Ninja's race after a disappointing qualifying session. But now he's very much starting to put the squeeze on the championship leader, Immortal. And this is what he needs to do, does he? He needs to start to eat into that championship lead. Of course, he got into it last week by 3 points there for Soundsurf Ninja. Soundsurf's in the pits there. So now we got Soundsurf Ninja. A lot of the front runners are coming into the pits very early on here. Yes, look, MHD has got a second, has found a second over Mad Max said. My goodness gracious me, it's going to be a tough one. I think it's still too early potentially. No peas, but I prefer mashed potato and baked beans, says real Ashton there. I must admit, I do prefer mashed potato and baked beans as well. I had a bit of KFC actually. Samsung Ninja's gone to the hard tires. We'll talk about that later. Delano in the pits on the hard tires as well. So then, so some drivers have gone on to the slick tires. 4 drivers have gone to the slick tires. Everyone else has stayed on the intermediate tires. MHD is gaining on Max, says Definite Duke there. Jinner, soon as tires start overheating, it's time to pit. If not, they will need to stay on the drying line, says Jinner, and that's what's happening. Percy's lost out to Flippy. Flippy's up into second, but it's not look at the 2 Haas drivers. That's fantastic for the American team. We'll have 2 American teams on the grid in the not too distant future, which is exciting to see. I cannot wait to see who's going to be the first drivers of the Cadillac era of ALR. It's going to be fantastic. Flippy, though, is he almost out of DRS range? So, as we just heard there from Definite Duke, yes, Sam Swift Ninja is now catching. Look at that then, catching Mad Max. The gap is less than 7.3 seconds. Are these drivers going to come into the pits now then? Here comes Immortal coming into the pits. Yes, Immortal's in the pits then, staying out then. And look, as I thought the 2 Haas cars got in, Flippy takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix here. So where is Immortal going to come out in this one? This is a very interesting race so far. We've got more cars into the pits. Now look at this, and here comes the championship leader. That's hard tires going off for the championship leader. Out of the pits now, who's that? That's a lovely Mud Peck there. But out of the pits now comes Immortal. Where is his rivals? Sandswift Ninja. Oh my goodness me, fight. But on the outside he goes, and on the inside goes Van Von. Immortal's lost track position. He's down into 15th position. Oh my goodness me. Fortune favours the brave, doesn't it there? And the MHD is now the de facto leader of the dry tyre runners, but Van Von on the medium tyres would probably want to put the squeeze on Soundswift Ninja, but Soundswift Ninja's on the step harder compound here over the brow of the hill. What was Immortal on? Immortal was also on the hard tyres as well. Incredible stuff there. So MHD leads. Second position is Soundswift Ninja. On board Soundswift Ninja as well. Oh, don't want to go on that curve too much. So that curve sets you off. What? That curve pulls you off. But goodness me. That curve throws you into the scene of the accident. So you've got to be careful on that outside curve. Here comes Van Von. Then he wants to get back past Soundswift Ninja because he's on the fresher. Well, he's on the medium tyre, which is a step softer. Anyone else into the pits? Yes! Flippy's in, Percy's in, Bravitt's in. Morris takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. I think that's the first time that Morris has led a Grand Prix this season, potentially. So incredible 17. Nameless 72nd position. Nosey has set the fast up for the race there in his Williams car. So now that it's triggering these stops then, as Soundswift Ninja comes across the line, but it's MHD who is now elevated his way up the order. My goodness gracious me then. So goodness me, Flippy has done a mega job out there because look how close those guys are there. Immortal has lost a bit of time there to Flippy. Goodness me. That's very close indeed. I'm surprised by that. Absolutely fantastic indeed. What's the curve number? Asking for a friend, says Jinner. Goodness me, gentlemen. Rising over the proud end of Skyblock. What's the? Oh, I'm going on that curve now. Says Serious Fashion. You guys are disgraceful, man. Absolutely disgraceful. We're on board with MHD. Sam Swift Ninja is very much doing a good job here on those hard tires, isn't he? Of course, really keeping MHD in view. Immortal has lost out here, but of course, it's very difficult, isn't there, to decide on when's the best time to come in. Of course, Sam Swift. Of course, when you're the car that's chasing, especially in the World Championship, you might want to throw caution to the wind ever so slightly. Into the pits comes Morris, Nameless in the pits as well. Oh, Morris, who's been driving superbly well, and on the outside goes Cam. That's a great manoeuvre. Sadly, we didn't see it, but unfortunately, Morris has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, that's devastating. As we go down into turn 1. Soundswift Ninja set another quick lap there, but Cam is now set to pass on the rest. Nolte has gone on his own there and is now leading the Grand Prix. Is Nolte there? So good stuff indeed there. Of course, Nolte had a bit of a nightmare on Wednesday, didn't he? But that's because he didn't have me in his ear telling him how to race, and which of course obviously he doesn't need. Being the man who's a 3-time Grand Prix winner in the top tier of Grand Prix racing with over 100 odd starts. I haven't got his stats at the moment there because because I'm actually standing up. Right, so I'll sit down a bit. As Cam, has he let his teammate through there, Cam, or has he just putting pressure on his teammate potentially? So Nosey could potentially be a hazard now for the Grand Prix leader, as MHD is having a look there, but no dice. Look at Nosey, that just, goodness gracious me, he's like driving a shopping trolley around Tesco's there, and Nosey just can't get the purchase down, and that is going to be a gift for MHD here, because look at that, Nosey's going to really put on. Sam Swift Ninja makes contact with the Williams driver, goes through on the inside, and now the Williams driver being all kinds of a nuisance there for the Grand Prix leaders, and look at that 3/10 of a second buffer is going to certainly help MHD then. So Moto is the biggest loser in that round of pit stops here on lap 11. Can the hard tires get to the end now? Go on, Alex, says Mushroom. I'm not sure. Can the hard tires get to the end from here? Oh, it's going to be a stretch then. Especially Sanchez Ninja's done 4 laps on it, and Delano has also done 4 laps as well. Nosey coming out of the pits now in 17th position there. So Knowles is going to have fresh hard tires in. I wonder if Nosey wants to try and stay out as long as possible, get those hard tires to the end, and he's certainly done that at the moment. Flippy has lost a lot of time somewhere. He's down in 6th position. Flippy is 2.5 seconds back from Percy, who he's fighting with earlier on. Then there is the top 5. Look at those cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but all in line there. And then Brabbit, who's who's in 7th position. 8th position is Morris. 9th position is Cam, and Nameless in 10th position. There's a lot of good drives out there today. However, for that Morris, it's such a shame that 10-second penalty will come back to bite him. And Moto has let his teammate through here. We heard Morris talk about the good teamwork from the Haas team earlier on in qualifying, and now Percy is now on his way. Van Von there is starting to put pressure on, but I think that Van Von, Percy and MHD have all got to pit again. A lot of the drivers around them are on the hard tyres. Sam Swift Ninja on the hard tyres, and Moto on the hard tyres as well here. Lap 12 out of 36 around this one. Hards can go till next week, says Serious Mushroom. Goodness gracious me, that's a lot of life on those hard tires, isn't it? Of course, we've seen on Wednesday the Mad Max that did just over a half race distance on the set of medium tires there. So we would assume, even with the half distance data, I would assume that the hard tires could probably get to the end as well. Mainly because Serious Mushroom said it, so now I'm going to take Mushroom's word for it. So if he's wrong, then that's it. It's Mushroom's fault. It's not mine. But maybe the medium tires got to the end as well. Chazza has just past Delano and up into Delano's having issues. He's having a miserable season. Is the former bronze world champion Delano? There has been a tough old season, unfortunately. As Van Von has gone for him. We're going to have to go from attack to defensive, because look at Percy. Percy is flying out there at the moment. They're going alongside Cam. Cam tries to defend it, but he's like a freight train. Through up the inside, takes 3rd position. Look at how much they're starting to home in. As Morris has got past Brabbit. Brabbit has down into 8th position there. Let's see what Morris can do there. Morris is going to try and start to put his toe down here. Now, Percy, of course, we have seen in the past, even with Percy's great rival Troy, when he was in the Ferrari team a few seasons ago, that Percy is a very good team player. Are we going to start to be thinking about team tactics now? With Sam Swift Ninja on the hard tyres, Percy can strike now, potentially get in front of the Sam Swift Ninja. Remember that Percy is the teammate of Immortal, and Immortal's great championship rival this season is Sam Swift Ninja. We don't see many teammates working together in a Grand Prix racing, but Percy, we've seen in the past where he can be a great team player. He is not officially out of the championship, but it's going to be very difficult for him to win, and I'm sure that he would want him and his teammate to be constructors and drivers champions there, don't they? I'm always wrong, says Serious Mushroom. Out of the follow turn now, and here comes Sam Swift Ninja. He is not going to wait, is he? Now he's through and takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix and gets in front of MHD. Remember that Sam Swift Ninja that is at the part of the season where things go his way. Very nice indeed. He's so good at this mid part of the season where he usually starts to stretch his lead that is in the World Championship. However, having said that, in season 10 where he was coming from behind there was Sam Swift Ninja, and drove superbly well. Mad Max has got past Nosey. Nosey's had an issue somewhere, hasn't he? Because he was a second or two in front of Mad Max. So someone's got a bit of ride there for Nosey, unfortunately. Percy then will probably need to get past past MHD ASAP. Is those hard tires starting to go off already? Maybe, or is it just Sam Swift Ninja's expertise around this circuit, because he's driving superbly well out there at the moment, and he's now starting to extend his lead then in this Grand Prix at the moment there. On board with Sam Swift Ninja, of course, his last 3 Grand Prix as a winner in Silverstone, and then 2 for a position in Spa and the Hungaro Grand Prix, the Hungaro Ring in Budapest there. So Sam Swift Ninja then certainly on a good run of form then. Compare that to the run of form for Motor. 3rd position in Silverstone then with a win in Belgium, and a 4th position last time out there. As MHD having a look then, but it was too far back. Sam Swift Ninja was trying to race away here, on board with MHD now then. Sam Swift Ninja as a Flippy, no, it's Morris and Brabbit swapping position at the moment. They're not fighting too hard there. They're just towing each other along very nicely indeed there. Flippy at the moment just hasn't got an answer to the top 5. He's starting to drop back. Flippy is in 6th position now, but I think that probably is due to the not on DRS either then, which is going to hurt him around this circuit, because you're going to have a high rear wing here, isn't it? And of course, if you could dump the drag on the straight side, which is what DRS is, then that is all fine and dandy, isn't it? Good stuff indeed. Oh, got an email from Now TV. Great stuff. However, I'm not interested in that. Oh, Man City against Man United. Great. Unfortunately, that's probably a couple of hours too late now, isn't it? I'm sure that the game's finished. Sam Swift Ninja, 5/10 of a second away. Then we got MHD, then we got Percy, then we got Van Von, and then we got a Mortal as Boxtel and Legends. What's happened as Boxtel's crawling, and oh no, what's happened there? Boxtel is recovering now as he's okay, apart from he's lost a lot of time then, but he is not damaged there, as going down in turn 1 once again then. Sam Swift Ninja's got a good run of pace there as Percy's got wide then. Van Von is going to have a go on the inside. Percy is burning up those rear tyres there, and giving a lot of welly there out of the Tarzan corner. Percy, who I think might have been a bit frustrated there, because he probably would have wanted to got by MHD, but sadly that is not the case so far. Look at these cars. Sam Swift Ninja is probably quite happy here at the moment, isn't it? Especially with that pace he's got. He's probably harvesting the battery around most of the lap then, and absolutely dumping the battery on the start-finish straight, because that is the only realistic overtaking opportunity down into turn 1 of Tarzan. But on this instant there, Sam Swift Ninja is starting to actually pull away ever so slightly here, and MHD then is starting to drop back. Now that he's doing a bit of harvesting as well. You can tell that because the rain light is flash on the back of that Alpine. So he's going to also have a bit of battery left as well. The gap is 7/10 of a second. He probably needs to be a bit further up the road than that. As a Mortal, oh no, it's Van Von has had an issue there. You can see that there is dirt coming off his tyres, and Van Von has made an issue, made a mistake or had an issue somewhere. His car is still fine then, but he's lost an abundance amount of time, and there's still going to be gravel on those tyres, and look at those tyres there. As doing similar to what Lucas Percy did on the last lap, but that is not good. But however, for Mortal, that's good, because now he's gained a position without having to be too strenuous on his tyres. As I'm sure that those, as the surfer said, those tyres go forever and a day then. But even so, you do not want to put too much pressure on them, do you? Because you want to keep them in the sweet spot then. As Sivasa then, of course, in 16th position here tonight, but has damaged that front wing, which is probably explains the struggles he's having here tonight there. Unfortunately, down in 16th position in that second Williams, sadly. As once again, Percy getting squirrely on the power of that racing bull. Mortal then is just going to be watching and waiting. I don't think Mortal's going to go for a lunge on his teammate, because I think that him and Percy have been performing very well together since being partnered up since the Belgian Grand Prix 2 races ago there. Out of the final turn once again then. Status quo at the moment, and not a lot is changing out there at the moment. It's a very difficult circuit to overtake on there, as MHD then, as into the pits comes Van Von there, and I'm thinking that so Van Von into the pits there. Maybe he's going to go for another set of medium tyres, or is he going to go for a set of hard tyres? We're going to just wait for the Red Bull mechanics. A set of hard tyres now then for Van Von, and then coming out of the pits now. Very early stop then for Van Von here. So Sam Swift Ninja still leads then. Second is MHD, Percy third, Immortal in fourth position. Flippy is in fifth position, kind of in no man's land there, with Morris in sixth, with Brabbit in seventh, Nameless eighth, ninth position is Cam, and Legends is in the top 10. Good stuff indeed then. With Equals in 11th position, 12th is Boxstar, recovering from a mistake earlier on. Chazza in 13th, Delano in 14th, and with Sivasta in 15th. And here comes Van Von, who's just on the fresh set of boots in 16th position, with Mad Max in 17th, and 18th position is Knowlesy. Then not enjoying this circuit is Knowlesy, unfortunately, in that Williams car. On board with Van Von now, so he's going to be the driver on the move. We're going to keep an eye on the front runners as well. As the top four are still status quo. I think it's going to be, I think the end of the race, this could be a slow burner, this one will be. Well, oh no, and now Savasta in the wall. And unfortunately, that just the exit of turn 11 is becoming a bit of a nightmare for these drivers. Or was it turn 10? But Savasta and the Williams team are having a nightmare race today. Absolutely very disappointed out there indeed. That Percy then is now starting to really push MHD there. As Boxer's got back past Equals and moving south to 11th position there. Van Von then would like to have what's happened. Something's happened somewhere. As Van Von is through. Oh, as Noel's got a 10-second penalty as Delano then really very much almost created the famous incident between Boxtel and Percy those many seasons ago then. But Van Von there just really slammed the door shut on his rival Delano there, not letting him go on the outside there. Very brutal stuff, but it was certainly effective from the Red Bull driver. He's now 6 seconds behind his teammate of Equals and is currently outside the points in 12th position at the moment. Samsung Ninja is crucially out of DRS now, so this could help and elevate Percy up into second position now. Out of the final turn then. Whoa, it's looking at that, go through that. Oh my goodness me! And Percy into the pits. Did he want to come in the pits there? I'm not sure, but maybe MHD was going commit to cut the pits, and that forced Percy in as well there. My goodness me, that was quite scary. And of course, we've seen something similar there with George Russell. Was it Piastri? I can't remember now. But in practice of Formula 1 there. But my goodness gracious me there. So out of the pits now comes Percy, out of the pits comes MHD. That could be crucial. Look at Van Von. He's still quite a distance behind there as Van Von. He did lose a lot of time though, didn't he, because of that mistake. So now these drivers are going to easily get to the end on lap 20. Only 16 laps then is needed on these hard tires. Yes, the track is going to be fairly green at the moment though, of course. So because the track is fairly green, and that could help, that could hinder them in terms of getting some tire prep going there for these tires. Only two drivers on the medium tyres now. Knowles on a fresh set of boots to the end, then Cam, who's currently on the medium tyres. And those medium tyres for Cam is looking absolutely splendid at the moment, isn't he? Immortals is back in DRS of Sam Surf Ninja. Well, we'll see how that one transpires, but we've got a great battle here between Brabbit, Morris, and now the two Aston Martins there. Two teams that will probably be hoping to be a bit further up in the construction than what they are at the moment of this season. But at the moment, we're getting a good payday, albeit, sadly, Morris does have a 10-second penalty, and they'll be hoping for, as Chaz has had an issue there, coming out of turn 8 there, so that's unfortunate for Chazza, who's down in 16th position at the moment. No safety cars yet, as Mad Max gets past Delano, who comes in the pit as well. So the hard tires are not lasting at all as long as what was expected. I thought they'd be going forever and a day. That happened to me almost on Wednesday with Marsky, says Sirius Basham, in the battle at the exit tires, which I must say that the Sirius Basham Marsky battle was absolutely one for the ages there. It was a bit of a saga, wasn't it? That battle lasted for probably 3/4 of the race, didn't it, on Wednesday? I must say, I thought that Sirius Basham owed Marsky money, to be fair. That battle was very personal at stages around. We loved it, didn't we? One of the battles of the race, race on Wednesday. I absolutely loved it. But don't think Sirius Russia loved that part of the race there, where him and Marsky was locking wheels out of the exit of tires up there. Immortal has whittled the gap down to almost 3/10 of a second, has the championship leader. And my word, then, I am getting, I keep saying I'm getting visions of the season 9 then around this circuit. But Immortal is absolutely flying out there. Sam Swift Ninja, as if he's got anything left there, needs to start to produce now. Nameless trying to go on the outside here. Into the pits comes the second Aston Martin of Cam. He is now on to the medium tyres again. Cam has made those medium tyres work. I think he's the only driver that has really made did those tyres work there? Nameless isn't P11 today, says Definite Duke. Nameless is driving superbly well. One of my drivers for driver of the day so far. Superb stuff there from Nameless. But he is getting held up now by the two Haas cars. I feel that Nameless could probably get himself at the 4th position here, but the two Haas drivers there have kind of been a roadblock there. You see Flippy in the foreground there. Last week's race winner down in 3rd position at the moment is Flippy. So the highest drivers that have come on a two-stop on those come on a two-stop set is Percy. Well, technically it's a two-stop, isn't it, actually? Percy in 9th position. 10th is MHD. Van Bonen in 11th position, recovering after a mistake earlier on then. Legends has gone to the medium tyres along with Cam then. So interesting stuff there. Nosey also on the medium tyres. Well, only one retirement then, which is P then on the opening exchanges of the Grand Prix. Samsung Ninja there, just about keeping them all to bay at the moment. This will be a 7-point swing then. Nameless is in the pits, and so Nameless is giving up with that battle with the two Haas cars, and is thinking better of it then. Whilst here comes, full person's going to get past Equal, so he is past Equal, so now into 7th position. Whilst in the background there is Van Bond through and passes MHD and up into 8th position now. Van Bond's got some pace today in that Red Bull. But I think he might be begrudging that mistake he made earlier on this race. But still, there's still a lot to play for on lap 23 out of 36 around here. Wasn't good for me. I was knackered, says the Sir Smasher, in reference to his almighty scrap between himself and Marsky, which was superb viewing indeed, wasn't it there? On board with Morris at the moment, and of course keeping up with Rabbit at the moment. And I got to say, this is a great race for both Haas cars. Whoa, is Morris there locking up the inside tyre, almost going into the back of Bravo there. Goodness gracious me. I'm surprised about these hard tyres. They're really struggling, and I don't think they're struggling for tyre wear, because I think that these tyres go for an awful lot longer, but it's just getting them into the window. As I'm also there, almost, I think he was too far away to have a good look, wasn't he? Percy, who's now Percy and Boxtel there. The goodness me, that is coming them side by side. That is these two. Percy says the fast off the race there. It's not a flashback from season 8 there. Percy has powered past his former rival and up into 6th position now. Oh my goodness gracious me, there is. I'm sure there's a lot of you old viewers of ALR would have got very excited, potentially very scared as well if you're fans of those two drivers. On board with Immortal now. So the points gap at the moment then is in a swing of 7 points then. So the gap will be down to about 37-ish or 36 points then. May give or take a point, because we know my maths is quite appalling. I need to go back to doing key stage maths, I think, don't I? Morris is very quick at the moment. I'm wondering if it'd be worth for the Haas team to swap positions, but maybe not at this point in the circuit here. I think, so I reckon these drivers here, they're either going to go to the end then, or... well, they're going to pit then, which is basically, get him, Geordie, says some serious pushing. Goodness gracious me. Well, obviously, they're obviously short, they're going to go to the end, or they're obviously going to pit then, aren't they? So that's basically one of their is into the pits. Morris, I wonder if Morris, sorry, I just smashed my microphone absolutely, like, that's probably going to really make some of you jump there. I apologise there, as I'm getting a bit too handsy with myself. So we're just watching Samsung Ninja. Oh, his MHD has got back past Kaz. Yes, Van Von there. And look at Van Von there. It's got so much good run there out of turn number 1 there. And Tarzan, is he going to have a lunge then into turn number 3? No, he's not there. Of course, Antonelli could load a figure 2 there. That's harsh. I apologise. Oh no, that's a Ferrari off the circuit. And it is the only Ferrari in this race. As now Delano just recovering, but it's been a nightmare for the Scuderia, and that's the whole front wing gone. And we've got to make it there. Don't think there's going to be a safety car or VSC then, because that would have come out now surely. But Delano into the pits there. It's been another tough day at the office there for Delano. Of course, as we mentioned, the former bronze champion. And there's yet the yellow flags have cleared just in the nick of time for Immortal. But once again, Immortal is just too far back here. Look at how much he gains there. And he pulls out of the slipstream now. I'm wondering why he's doing that for. Is there something overheating in that Red Bull car? Unfortunately. Gaming! Let's go. Mad Mike said. As Delano out to the Grand Prix. 2 retirements in this one, sadly, there for Delano. As it's been a tough race. Delano, unfortunately, was involved in a bit of a scrap as well earlier on this race. But out of the Grand Prix again there for the Ferrari driver. It's been a tough season, hasn't it? Kazer, who's there's a Ferrari just crawling out of the pits there. Van Von then just given MHD some calls for success. The 2 Haas cars are still fighting tooth and nail for 4 4th position here. So as it stands there, Morris would just about finish in the top 10. He was slotted in 9th position. If the checker flag waves at this moment, then King Mad Max then says gaming as well. As at the moment, Mad Max is up into a superb 12th position, so he's starting to get his way back through the field, but he is in the heart of the midfield runners here. So so that's not going to be ideal. So Mad Max might have to get his elbows out in just a jiffy and start to get some defending on the go. But currently not in the points is Mad Max out and unable to. Sam Swift Ninja is in the pits with 10 laps to go for the Kick Sauber. Now, is this going to be a shrewd manoeuvre in terms of the Grand Prix win here? Or is this Sam Swift Ninja making the strategy short the area? He's in the pits now, medium tyres for Kick Sauber. He comes out of the pits now. Sam Swift Ninja has relinquished, as Chasm MEC is still fine, but he's relinquished track position. And it's very difficult to overtake around here, but with a tyre delta and a tyre offset here, this might help him. But Sam Swift Ninja in the pits now, I'm quite surprised by that. Let's see, unless our tyres are in a very bad state at this moment, I am surprised, to be fair. It just shows how, this shows that basically these Pirelli tyres, and you can never judge them. Soft, says Serious Mushroom. So just watching Van Von now then in a 7th position there. I don't think he's calling the drivers soft then, unless he means that the drivers probably should be going on soft tyres, or is he saying that the drivers should be going on softs at this stage of the season? As Steve Assa has gone past Knowlesy in number 260 position. It's a horror day for the Williams team, sadly. Good choice by Sam, says Serious Mushroom. On board now, Sam Swift Ninja. I must admit, I'm not sure if is it a good choice though. I'm wondering if staying out would have been the better idea. You know, we've only 9 laps to go. I'm wondering if it's a stretch too far potentially. Maybe then, but what do I know? I'm just a commentator who just sits on his poof there. Well, I'm standing at the moment, sort of cramping me over here. And now on the outside, and Van Von then is fighting, and he's trying to go on the outside now. Sam Swift Ninja's going to go on the inside there, but he bails out of it because he probably thinks that this is a battle that doesn't really want to get too involved in, because they're fighting tooth and nail here. Sam Swift is going to go on the inside. So much for purchase, and he's going side by side there with Van Von here. As Sam Swift Ninja then just about has to hold back ever so slightly as they come on the brow of the hill into Skyflux. Sam Swift is going this way and that way, but Van Von will not be deterred. He's going to go on the inside again. This is the problem. This part of the circuit is so narrow. He'll have a chance down into the chicane of 11 and 12. But the amount of time that he's losing there coming through, but he's got to do this switcheroo. Oh, contact between the two cars. Sam Swift Ninja has to get out of it there as Van Von there slams the door shut on the world champion here. Down into turn 11 and 12. I'm wondering if Sam Swift Ninja might have held back potentially. I was guessing what he was going, says Serious Pressure there. So Serious Pressure thought he was going to go softs. But he has gone the medium tire. I'm not sure. There's a lot of overtaking that Sam Swift Ninja is going to need to do. He is going to, excuse me. Sam Swift Ninja's gone, dropped too far back then, down into tires. Sorry, I had to quickly wet my whistle. Nameless and the two Aston Martin cars doing a great job. Well done to Cam as well. Cam had a great race last week, and he's equally on a great race this week as well. Boxout's got past Equals on the fresher medium tyres. So the top 4 have not pitted. Percy! Oh my word! Up into Skyflock and into 4th position, passes Morris. What a manoeuvre. Incredible stuff indeed there. You can't do that to any driver there. Hats off to Morris there. Hats off to Percy as well. Commitment from Percy. Great racing from Morris as well. Sadly, we only caught the end of that. I love this in the run-up as well. And he's going for it again then. And again, he's going to squeeze himself through and passes Van Von. Van Von is on the grass here. And Sam Swift Ninja is through. And now it's Kaz there. I think the Kaz will think better of it as they go into the chicane then. So currently, as it stands then, the gap to the leader is 14.9 seconds there. That is quite a lot of time then. Percy is now blasting his way through, and he's up into 3rd position then on those hard tyres. His next target is 2 seconds down the road, which is Flippy. And then Sam Swift Ninja gets past MHD and moves himself up into 6th position. So those drivers that are on the fresher harder tires there. So those drivers then were probably going to be more difficult ones to overtake. Boxhouse at the fast half racing, good stuff indeed. But I think that it's going to be difficult to overtake Percy. I think the two Haas drivers have done 20 and 21 laps respectively on the hard tires. Maybe a bit more of a difficult cookie to crack there, but we still got the two Mercedes there getting close together as well. Oh, it's Mad Max in the box to make contact. And here comes Boxtel as well, wheel to wheel, my goodness me, and oh my goodness gracious me, and then on the outside, oh wow, and through and on the outside goes Boxtel. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Two great overtakes at that corner there, and I must say I struggled to get through that corner on my own. That's fantastic stuff indeed. Samsung Ninja then, of course, certainly as Percy might be a major factor then for this Grand Prix, and then Lucas Percy, who Lucas Percy, who has not won a Grand Prix this year, but has only had 8 race starts this year, so but this is 9th race starting for Lucas Percy. He'd love to win, but I'm wondering if there might be a call over the radio then, but we've still got 5 laps to go there. Malta has done quite a lot of laps on those hard tyres. If those hard tyres can get to the end then it's still very much in the box seats. Driver of the day vote is out. There it is, and Percy, Soundshift, and Malta, and Flippy for your driver of the day. Of course, I would say that you probably should wait a minute or two, because I think this one could be decided in the last couple of laps or so. So this one is not done and dusted, not by a long shot. My stomach's gurgling. I mistakenly, I ate like an absolute pig yesterday. With, of course, I was at the Pride Day yesterday, which was a great opportunity for me to stuff my face. So I had a bit of a full English breakfast at Spoons, and then of course I had a good old KFC as well. But sadly today I am suffering. I think I've got a bit of irritable bowels or something like that, because I must say, the day after I have any food like that, I must say that I'm sitting on the throne for forever and a day. Out of the final turn, and Percy wants to sit on the top step of the podium, and through in under second position. 6.7 seconds of gap is, remember that, 4 laps to go. This Grand Prix. Samsung Ninja is now on the facility at the battle in Haas cars, and there's been a bit of a civil war in the Haas team today, hasn't there? Well, maybe not too much of a civil war, but there's been war in teammates over Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Haas, hasn't there? It's great viewing. So Samsung Ninja then is now starting to catch up to the back of Morris. Morris has got a 10-second penalty, which at the moment it is going to drop him down. It might drop him out of the points now, because they're starting to all home in on the Haas cars here, unfortunately. You don't want to mess up with Geordie through there. So serious rushing through, and up into 5th position goes Soundshift Ninja. As I wonder if Morris is now starting to show his tyres. Next target is Brabbit. Brabbit is less than a second away. Then after that it is Flippy, who's about 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds down the road for Soundshift Ninja in the battle for the final podium spots. But I feel that either that pit stop came too late then, or sniffle again, Sean. How dare you? Like, I was very ill that day, and I'm still upset with Favre for giving me a licence point. And having said that, though, in Favre's defence, we'll talk about that in a minute. Then as we go for a run down into Tarzan, that would have been a late manoeuvre there. I don't think Brabbit would have slammed the door shut. Brabbit wouldn't have done, as I think the Brabbit's on very old tyres there, isn't he? But in serious much as the teleportation there in Favre's defence there, of course, Mark Webber didn't retire from the race when he was sick in his helmet in the 2007 Japanese Grand Prix, so I think I was just being a wuss myself. But there you go, I was very and sadly for Mark Webber, he was up into second position then, and he got knocked off the track by a familiar foe in years to come anyway, of Sebastian Vettel, which was interesting. Oh goodness gracious me, as Braverton is not going to yield this one, but Ninja goes up and under, takes 4th position, passes the Haas car, and through he goes. Next target, there he is, he's within view. The gap is 2.1 seconds now, and then that is going to be 3rd position there for Samsung Ninja. I think that I'll be interested to know, I'm wondering then if his tyres had just fallen off the operating window here when he came to the pits, or was there a slow puncture, or maybe this could be the race winning strategy. But we got 3 laps to go, and the time is ticking now. Van Von and MHD MHD was ghosting there. There was something wrong there, and now Kaz has gone through past 2 cars on 1 straight there. It's very difficult to pass 1 car on 1 straight, but 2 there, as Morris is falling off quite. I wonder if they're struggling for fuel out there, because we are not any safety calls. All VSC that it's been very much fast and frantic since the get-go here. Equaz has passed the kick Sauber of Legends and moved himself up the order. Morris has lost out again. I think that Morris is struggling, isn't he? I think that I wonder if he's run out of fuel here at this stage. And let's get the telemetry up. Well, he's not flashing there, is he, Morris? Isn't there? So I'm wondering if Morris's tyres would have gone then. And if that's the case, is that a early warning then for Immortal? So the gap is 7 seconds there with 3 laps to go. And the Flippy then has got DRS there from the Cruz and Williams. So, oh my gosh, as I thought he was going to have a run there. Flippy, who's kind of been in no man's land here, hasn't he, tonight then? But still with a great position there for Flippy. But I think that Flippy was probably a step behind then in terms of the... in terms of the pace, it's not. It's the 2 Aston Martins there. I've just got past Morris as well. Morris is crawling. There's a technical problem there, or the tyres have gone then. And look at this, Sam Swift Ninja passes the McLaren, moves himself up into front position. 2 laps to go here, but I think it might be a stretch too far. And is this 10-point swing then? Is this going to be a factor? And is this a mistake from the Kick Sauber team that they have relinquished the Grand Prix lead and potentially lost points over Immortal then? That's just me there, just getting a bit ahead of myself. Ninja, woo! I got shivers then. Says Serious Busher there. I must admit, I got the shivers as well, but I think that's because I'm getting a bit sweaty. And MHD is right to the back of Van Von. It'll be interesting now. I wonder if MHD had a bit of a slide out the final bank turn there. So we've got a couple of drivers in for the soft tyres there. Morris is crawling. That's such a shame, isn't it, for Morris? Because he's driven a superb race there. And I think it's been his best race of the season. He's got no rewards. Flippy, I think, has got no tyres either. Or he's thrown for tyre. Or he's thrown for... or he's just thrown for fuel, because look, this Rabbit is now starting to home in as well. And these 2 drivers are going to be fighting for third in the Drivers' Championship all the way to the end there. And with MHD then, look at that, he's about 3 seconds back. He's about 3 seconds back is MHD then, and currently even beyond Van Von there, so he's going to lose points there. The battle for third in the Drivers' Championship is going to get very interesting indeed. Then Rabbit just a bit too far back then on the final tour of the Dutch Grand Prix. MHD up in 2-6. Van Von serves Nameless there, and Cam fighting. They're going to be the 2 Aston Martins there. I'll get him very close. Nameless cuts across Cam and moves up into the top position. Hats off to Nameless this season, and Cam actually. Nameless started off the season with frustratingly only finished in 11th, but recently Nameless has been on fine form, and as has Cam as well. And this is a great opportunity there for the 2 Aston Martins. But they do not want to crash into each other. Getting very close over at Skyflock there. My goodness gracious me. That would not have gone down too well with my crack, would it? Neat Candy's generator has run out again, says Serious Motion Brabant. They're coming down the bike straight. At the moment, it's going to be an RB12 at this moment, which is going to be the first 1-2 of the season in Golden. We've had 2 1-2s so far in the whole season of ALR Grand Prix racing this season. And Immortal wins the Dutch Grand Prix, and a second in front of Lucas Percy, with Sanchez Ninja getting third in the end. I apologise. Immortal wins the Dutch Grand Prix, and it's his 7th win of the season, and it's another 10 points and out of Sam Swift Ninja. Sam Swift Ninja got the gap down to about 4 seconds in the end there, but is that pit stop, was that needless there? Did that cost him the Grand Prix win? I think it did, potentially. Oh, Sean, you need to keep up there. Goodness gracious me. Oh, you basically missed the final lap there, didn't I? Immortal with his 11th win of his career here, and extends his lead in the championship. The gap is now up to 54 points then, with 6 races to go as we go to Italy, the final European race of the season next week. There, goodness gracious me, it's over 2 wins now. Immortal is actually punches the air, does the championship leader. My goodness gracious me. Insane tyre saving there from Immortal. So maybe it was tyre wear that forced some drivers into the pits there. Maybe he was being too nonchalant there, was us. Insane as a mortal 44%, Percy 33, Samsung 22% there. Or let's take a look at the classification there. From the Dutch Grand Prix, Immortal won the race there with fast out goes to Legends, Percy driver of the day. Van Von most overtakes Cleese driver MHD. Here's the final classification there. Immortal is 7th win of his career, his 7th win of the season there. 54 points. Does it? Hang on. 54 points is the gap between himself and Soundswift Ninja. First 1-2 of the season in gold as well from Percy and Immortal. Soundswift in third position with Flippy in fourth, with Brabbit fifth, MHD in sixth, with Van Von seventh, the two Aston Martins 8th and 9th. Great stuff. 10th position for Boxstar. Morris, the 10-second penalty cost him today. Then 12th position was Equaz. Mad Max in 13th, 14th Legends. Sivasa in the 15th with Chance of 16th, Knowles 17th, 2 retirements of Delano, and Pease out of this one there. Oh my word. Let's go team, says Percy. The only other team to get 1-2 in the whole of ALR this season is the McLaren team, where they got 2 in silver earlier on in the season. Early on in the season, but it's kind of fallen off the cliff, hasn't it? In terms of the McLaren team, the McLaren's quest for the drivers' championship and the constructors as well. Actually, oh my word! As I gotta just quickly catch my breath out, as also all that kind of jazz as well. Sam Swift, great drive today, incredible start to the race, but in the end there, you made an extra stop. It may have cost you the Grand Prix win today? Then I said on stream that might have cost you the Grand Prix win. Do you agree with that?
Well, obviously, if you look at it, well, yeah, but to be honest, I had to make the second stop because my car was sliding around all over the shop because I had no force feedback for the entire race, which was really annoying, so I couldn't tell when I had traction or not. And if you use the visuals, which obviously I know that some people might say in the comments, the visuals are already like a good few seconds behind, so if you see your car already losing the back end, then you're already losing a lot of time anyway. So that's why you should probably, if people are struggling with traction control off and stuff like that, you definitely need the vibration stuff. But yeah, it was really annoying, to be honest. I was most annoyed with it, my vibrations being off. At the start of the race, because I lost like a good. Honestly, even though I was in the DRS train, I still lost about a good second, like 1 to 3 seconds worth of time, because there was a few laps where I was in AI mode to see if I could just try and sort out my vibrations and make them come back. So I tried to turn them on and off again, but it just didn't work. So I had vibrations off for the entire race, which I know that people will say that I try and make excuses for races where I don't win and all, but I mean, racing with no vibrations when I'm most of the time I use vibrations all the way to the maximum, then yeah, it's very frustrating, but I mean, I'll still take the podium.
That is such a shame because actually I definitely agree with you, because there's one time, I'm not a racer, far from it, but there's one time where I didn't have any feedback when I was I was on the controller, but the amount of time I lost because I didn't know what I was doing, what the tires were doing, all that was quite incredible.
Yeah.
So that is absolute bad luck there indeed. Do you like how difficult is it to keep going with things like that then? Because I must say, I lost so much time and I got so frustrated. How difficult is it to keep going, and how difficult is it to keep your chin up when things just seem to go against you?
Sorry about that, pardon me. Well, the championship. I mean, everyone else says Maxi. Even though I don't think I've still got a chance of the championship, everyone else tells me that I still am a title contender and stuff like that. So, I mean, the championship. If I'm like other people and just pitting quit because of a certain an issue that's happened to me in the race, then I mean I would have lost an extra 25 points in the championship. Then it would have been championship over. Because like I keep on saying, I wanna win all the championships of all the seasons that I've been in, but so yeah, I just had to keep on going. There was no point. You don't get any benefit from pitting and quitting, because you just get freaking penalty points, and then you lose out the chance of getting some points that you could have got. So I mean, it was pretty easy to keep going. It's just annoying that I was freaking screwed by my controller the entire freaking race.
And I'm not good. We're not going to ponder on the what could have been and things like that because that's probably very gut wrenching indeed. So let's go on to
Hmm.
the start of the race where you drove through the field so incredibly well. You got from sixth to like third or second almost instantly in the opening stages of that race. There, you made overtaking look easy on a track which is very difficult.
Um. Yeah. Well, my recording freaking got screwed over. So it was wet one at the start of the race, was it? If I remember rightly,
Yeah, it
was it
was a
wet?
bit damp.
Well, yeah. With it being the rain, obviously, quite a lot of people say that it's a lot harder to overtake in the rain and the wet on this game. But for me, I've always been good on the wet in the wet on like nearly every game that's come out recently. So it's just, I mean, it's maybe because I've got pad traction and all, but yeah, I just prefer the wet compared to a lot of other people. So I mean, I know the start of the race is the easiest time of the race to make places, so I just had to go for it and see if I could gain as many places as possible.
As it stands at the moment, the championship gap is 54 points, and going into the final European race of the season. Um, what is your plan for attack now then, or is there no plan? It's just having to go for all out victories for the final races.
Um, well, yeah, there's that, but I think the championship's over. Obviously, I said in Hungary that it is more or less or might be over, but having another race where I've lost another 10 or so points, however, 15 points it was, however it was again, then it's over because it's getting to the point where I have to freaking try and win nearly every single race with AC Immortal finishing down in like fifth and sixth, and with the pace that he's had on nearly every single circuit, then it's looking more or less impossible. But I mean, I knew that friggin' like a good 4 or 5 races ago that the championship was going to be pretty difficult to get. It's just there was always that hope with the circuits that I prefer being at the end of the season. That I could come in clutch, but I mean, with races like I've had this today, then the championship's over. He's well deserved anyway. He's been the quickest by country mile in terms of qualifying, which is also helps in the race. So I mean, it's GG to him. He deserves it.
Unlucky today, Sancho, but even still got a podium as well in such tricky conditions. Well done. Let's come to Percy, who got second position today, and of course, just as the rain stopped, then you came in on the medium compound. You came in and switched onto the medium compound tires. Do you think that potentially, if you went to the hard tires, you could have got a win today, or was there pressure within the team then to help your teammate win today?
Um, to be honest, I just went with my gut. Felt like the medium would be the better tire. I always wanted to do a medium hard as soon as it went dry. So I went with my gut, went for the mediums, and yeah, just I think as soon as I came out the pits, I just had a lot more pace than everyone else, and managed to make my way through a couple of drivers, and then like Zangvor, terrible to overtake. So it was a bit of a DRS train until people started to box, and then when I went onto the hards, I thought I'd made a bit of a mistake because I saw Salmon, Immortal, and Flippy stay out for quite a while. But then obviously when Sam boxed, it kind of opened up the situation for me, and I managed to pick my way through the older hard runners, and then unfortunately couldn't get Immortal, but more than happy with the second place and the 1-2 for the team.
Would you have challenged the Mortal for the Grand Prix win, knowing that he's fighting for the championship, or was there a bit of I'm going to hold back and I'm going to hold back until the championship's won?
I mean, at the time when there was about 5 laps remaining and the gap was still about 6 seconds, 7 seconds, I was thinking, you know what, it is what it is. I'd rather just get the 1-2 for the team. But then as soon as I saw the gap was decreasing and with about 3 laps to go, it was about 3 seconds. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for this win. And on the final lap, I was gaining temps corner by corner, and I was still trying to go for the win, but unfortunately couldn't get there in the end. But yeah, like I said, more than happy for the P2, and yeah, the 1-2 for the team.
I mean, you're very similar to Max Verstappen this season, where I wouldn't say you're in the championship fight then, but you're probably just going to go for wins. For a man who's been a world champion, then does that satisfy you?
No, I mean only wins do satisfy the drivers that win championships. I mean, like Sam, he's probably disappointed with the P3, even though it's cracking drive. All you want to do is win when you know you've done it before. And for me this season and the past couple of seasons, it's just been a case of podiums after podiums, and even then, not even finishing on the podium. So I think it's just a case of maybe go for the wins, yeah. But at the end of the day, I'd be more than happy with a podium. I mean, we've seen this season my pace hasn't been very good, so when I do actually get a podium, it kind of feels like a win. Especially today as well. I wasn't expecting the podium, but to finish P2 is absolutely outstanding.
And we go to Monza next week. It's the final European race of the season. I know you've only just been promoted to the Racing Bull team, but you have raced in a majority of the races this season. Do you think then, before the end of the season, that you're going to get a Grand Prix win? There's a lot of very tough tracks coming up then, but you've got a lot of good history on your side.
I'd like to say so. I think, to be honest, it's more down to where I qualify. I mean, we saw from today that, if I do qualify up inside the top five, then I do have a chance of a win. But unfortunately, this season and seasons in the past, I've never really been known for out and out one lap pace. So I think the higher I qualify, the more chance I have for the race win. But yeah, hopefully I can try and get a win on the board. But I'll be more than happy to just get podiums and help Immortal to his first title.
Really well done today, Percy. Great drive to second position. Sam Swift Ninja in third as well, despite the technical drama as said. But unfortunately, though, that means that Immortal has now got a 54-point lead going into the final European race of the season. Then MHD then is still third, but I think the battle for third position is really heating up then between MHD, Brabbit, and Flippy. Percy's even got an outside chance, I think, in getting that third position as well. It's going to look very interesting. This 1-2 for Racing Bulls today, though, has extended their lead in the Constructors' Championship. It is looking quite formidable now for the Red Bull team. Oh, sorry, the Red Bull B team. In the Silver Championship, then, Duke has taken the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 18 points now from Kiki in second, with the two McLarens third and fourth. Then it's kind of gone off the rails for the McLaren team, who was the only other team to get a 1-2 in the whole of ALR up until today, and where Racing Bulls have finally got the third 1-2 of the season. So it's mission critical now for the McLaren team, with the gap only 29 points separates the top four. Cannot wait for that one. And then on Tuesday night, it is Reflections who leads the championship by a very slender 7 points then. A nightmare race last week for Reflections. Hopefully, he can be bounced back here today in Zandvoort, or here this week in Zandvoort. Dynamo Dan is also 25 points away from Reflections at the moment, but still within a Grand Prix win there. Hungry Styles has got their breakthrough Grand Prix win and is almost on the heels of Dynamo Dan, and potentially get a light change for a promotion spot then. That is this week then, and then we've got the Event League on Wednesday. I can't remember what that is then, but that's too far in the distance. Thank you very much for today. Been brilliant stuff indeed. Goodbye.